But people that can think bold, dude, they're not scared of it. They're hungry. They love it. They live by it. And to me, that's bold.
Hey everyone, welcome to 12 TV. I'm Eric Chang, this is Brian Cristiano, and we are live from New York City. Brian is the CEO of Bold Worldwide. His agency boasts clients such as J-Lo, yes, Jennifer Lopez, Gillette, A-Rod, and PepsiCo. He has spoken across the nation, worked with guys like Ed Milet, and also been featured in Forbes Mag, AdWeek, Yahoo, to name a few. Thanks so much for having us here.
Thanks, man. I couldn't have said it better myself. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
No worries. I just want to start by saying thank you for, being one of our mentors to our agency. I reached out a few years back when I was like surfing videos late at night, and I was watching Grant Cardone, and boom, there you are. Like, well, this guy's motivated. He wants to hustle, and he's trying to get there. And like, this is the guy I have to follow. So I thought, why not just reach out to him, send him a DM, and maybe he'll get back to me. Maybe he doesn't, but what's no harm, no foul, right? And then you got back, and we did a little mentoring session. And a few years later, here we are in your office.
I know, man.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Welcome to New York.
Yeah, you've helped us come a long way.
Good. I'm glad.
So, could you give us the Brian Cristiano backstory a little bit?
Oh man, where do you want me to start? All the way back?
Well, all the way back.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a pro skater, and I was really good. I competed, but I was not.
Skateboarder,
rollerblader when it was cool for like 5 minutes in the mid 90s. And I wanted to be pro. I realized I was really good, but I wasn't that level. But I had friends that were in the X Games and the Gravity Games, and I said, you know what? There's nobody making skate videos on the East Coast. I don't know why. I watched them all. I thought they were cool, and I said, let me start making them. I come from a very blue-collar family. My mom's a teacher, dad's in the military. Not one entrepreneur, not one business owner, nobody in my family, still to this day, except for myself. And so everybody told me, and they meant well by it, but they said, you don't know how to film. You don't make a video. You're 16 years old. How are you going to do this stuff? And I said, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. And I did it. And by the time I was 16, I produced, created, and sold my first video for $40,000 to Video Action Sports.
First video.
That was number one.
Yeah.
That was a good way to kick it off.
That was.
So that was the start, man. And then, I realized I was like, you know what? I'm gunning for it. I'm going all for it. Like, forget this. But, as we do, we listen to our peers and other people that, mean well. And, my family, teachers, everybody, you got to go to college. Slow down. I know that, you got this lucky break. Like, people call it a lucky break. Slow down, go to college, go there for 4 years and then go work for somebody else or intern and, get a job. And then eventually, you can't make money making skate videos, but eventually maybe you could, work for somebody in Hollywood or something like that. Everybody told me to go that route. And, in my heart of hearts, I didn't really think it was right. I felt like there was so much more that I was capable of, and there's definitely a different way, a better way of doing things. But, I was convinced to go to college, and it's my senior year of high school, and about to go. And my dad actually is also retiring at that point in time. He's 30 years in the military, Air Force, Lieutenant Colonel, amazing. And amazing guy, really great, loved his country, but he had such big dreams, and he had kind of bottled them up and was waiting to retire to start this science center and teaching children. He was doing some of that as well, but like opening a science center and like really making this awesome stuff, traveling the world more. And so he's really looking forward to it. And he said, hey, look, you got to put in your time. I put in my 30 years, but now I'm going to go do this other thing. And he passed away the night before his last day at work. And so for me, it was really tough. It was really hard. I was a senior in high school, had a little sister, and and it really kind of messed us up for a little bit. And but ultimately, what it made me realize was after maybe a year or so, I kind of absorbed it a little bit. And what I realized was, man, I got to go with my gut because I can't wait to do what I want to do or what I know is possible. Because if I'm going to play everyone else's script, if I'm going to do it their way, and I'm going to do it in a certain order and wait 30 years, I'm not guaranteed tomorrow.
No.
So what if I don't ever get to do the thing I want to do? And I said, screw it. And so I quit college. I went out and I started a production company.
What year of college? last year?
No, so I actually gotten some life credits. I was able to get life credits. I went to an art school. I got life credits. So I was getting my, I was going through 2 programs. I was getting my associates, and then I was going to get my bachelor's. So my associate's degree was shortened to a year and a half. I did that, and then it was my first week for the bachelor's degree. And there was a teacher who said, who said, it was a script writing class, said, hey, who here has worked in the industry, did some professional work? A couple of us raised our hands. Most people are like, oh, production assistant, film some weddings, whatever. And I'm like, oh, I produced a bunch of skate videos, made a bunch of money, I shoot BU cam for the History Channel, and I like give him my whole credential. And he looks me straight in the eye, first day of class, first week, and he goes, why are you here? He goes, you know everyone here is taking these classes so they can do what you're doing. Why are you here? And I was like, it's a great question. Picked up my books, I went downstairs, and I was like, how do I quit college? And like, what? They're like, go see the HR office or whatever it was, and I quit, and that was it. I didn't tell anybody, I didn't tell my mom for like a week, and I left college, and that was it. End of story. Started a production company.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was the beginning. And
so how did you start Bold Worldwide? Like, where did it come from? How'd you get going?
Yeah, so I grew that production company. Many stories I could show you at some other point, but I grew that company. A lot of ups and downs, big lessons. Like I almost lost it, almost went homeless. But fought back, got through that, built that company to multiple 7 figures. Was doing business with a lot of big ad agencies like Ogilvy and BBDO, and it was great. We were doing huge broadcast TV commercials. But it just never felt right. And it was constantly this conversation of, okay, they would tell us what they wanted. It would take 3 months, a lot of back and forth, finally get produced. Then we'd go into post-production. So like there would be this idea that we're supposed to create, and 6 months later it might come to fruition. And then the other thing, and I was like, this is just so slow. Like YouTube, while it was newer then, it was established. So was Twitter. And I'm like, why are we making one 30-second TV commercial when we don't know what's going to happen with this, and we're not going to get any feedback for a year from now? When like it's crazy to me. And this was like 2008, 2009, and then the market crashed, and it kind of like set our industry a little bit upside down. And I remember specifically, I was on a call with a very large agency with a very large client, and we were doing their production, and we'd completed it, at least the initial cut, and we sent it to the agency, and they said, and they gave us a bunch of feedback. And I said, look, I understand what you're saying, but that's not all what the client needs. Based on the brief, based on what we know about the client, they want this. And they're like, yeah, but that's not going to get us the cans. And I was like, oh, that's what this is.
So they're trying to help their client.
Nah, they were on a trip to France. And I was like, are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
Dude, I'm not going to say it because people could reverse engineer who it was. But big client, big agency, you'd know everybody who they were. And I was like, you guys are, this is a joke. Like, this is a joke to me. And I said, guys, that's fine. You can submit that version. I said, but give this to the client. And they're like, no. And they made us make all these changes. I said, dude, just let me get on the call with the client. I'll even say I work for the agency. I don't even have to be the production company, even though they know you hired a production. And they're like, no. They kept us like, really a distance. And 3 weeks go by, and finally got to the client, and the client hated it. And they were like, here's all our notes. And I just said, send them this version. And I sent them version 1. They had like by the time the client saw it, it was like version 14 after the agency had like pissed all over it.
Right.
And I sent them back version 1. And the client's like, where was this the last 3 weeks? How come it took this long to do it? And I go, it's been sitting in version 1's been sitting there for 2 months.
Yeah.
What a joke. And I was like, this is crazy. I was like, I can't deal with this. This is going to drive me up a wall. I don't think this is right. These people are driving me nuts. I had a business partner, and I told her, I was like, we're going direct to client.
Yeah.
And she was like, you're crazy. This is nuts. No. And that was my first lesson in having a business partner, having to buy somebody out when I didn't have the cash. So it was another lesson. But I did it, and that's when I founded Bold and was like, I'm going direct to client. I'm going to be an agency. I'm going to do it the right way that actually impacts and grows clients' businesses and bottom lines, and not just spend their money so I can get a trip to France.
Client focus first.
That's right, man.
Yeah.
Let's make some impact, yeah.
You had some ups and downs, probably like you mentioned with the beginning of Bold Worldwide. What are some things that really got you through those down periods? Kept you growing?
I think for me, it was a lot of really getting clear on where I was going, what I was trying to accomplish, and also, going backwards and when I almost lost everything in 2040p, my production company, reminding myself that I've been through that. I've been through that hard time. If I can get past that, I can get past anything. And number 2, God, I don't ever want to go back there. So I'll do everything I had to move past those.
Pick up the phone, sales, everything.
Anything, whatever I had to do, man. I hated sales at first. I got really good at sales when I had to get really good at sales. And now I'm great at it.
When there's no turning back.
When there's no option, man.
Yeah.
When you're in the corner against the ropes and it's do or die, you either live or you die. And so for me, that's it. I had to live.
Burn the bridges, burn the boats. There's no turning back.
There's no turning back.
Go all in.
That's it. No choice.
All in.
Yeah.
Awesome. A couple years ago, you started a series, Growing Bold video series. Why'd you start that?
It was a few things. We were already doing a bunch of content. I think a lot of people think it was the first thing we did. I did content for a while. It didn't really take off, but some of it was valuable. And I knew that there was a couple things for me. One was I knew that we could do better content. And I was trying to figure out, how do I do something that's different and that's valuable and interesting and maybe even entertaining to people other than myself, right? Number one. And number two was, this is what we're selling. We're telling our clients, you need to be on social. Forget TV, be on social. Be on Facebook, be on YouTube, put paid behind it. Tell your real story. Don't manufacture some script that's 30 seconds. Be honest. Let's make mini documentaries. And so we're telling clients to do that. And I'm very
always apprehensive at first, right? When you tell them.
Well, yeah. I mean, I believed in it because I saw it working, and I knew it worked. And I knew it worked for other brands, and we're already, we had case studies. But for me, I'm like, man, if I'm telling other clients that this works, and if you look at our industry and you say, hey, when was the last ad agency that ran a TV commercial? When was the last ad agency that ran a radio spot? None. Ever. Yeah. Why? Because it doesn't work. Because if it did, they would do it.
Right.
Let's be honest. If it did, they would do it. They don't. And so I was like, wow, how different would it be if I said, hey, clients should do this because it works, and I do it, and I put my money where my mouth is, and it works. And so I was like, ooh, that's really putting skin in the game. And so I wanted to do that. That was number one. And number two, I became good friends with Hank Norman, awesome guy, and I was talking about this, and Grant Cardone, as I know you know, did an interview with me, and he asked me a bunch of stuff. He's like, where do you want to go? I said, $100 million. Do you think you can hit it? I said, absolutely. No question. To this day, I'm like, no, there's no question. Absolutely, I can do it. And he's like, all right, great. And so Hank and I were talking a couple days after that video came out, and he's like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know, man, because I talk a lot of personal stuff that they didn't edit out, and I said I'd be honest, and I was. I was like, I don't know, man, people know a lot of stuff about me. Yeah. He's like, anything negative happen? I said, no. He said, anything positive happen? I'm like, yeah, I got a bunch of calls from these people I didn't know, and I got a couple meetings set up, and he goes, great. So what are you waiting for? I'm like, fuck. He's like, okay, you're already doing it. So I'm like, damn it. All right, I got to tell my own story. I got to do, it was just the catalyst to go all right, well, the cat's out of the bag. And if I'm going to make a claim, if I just made a claim on Grant Cardone's social media channels, which have millions of followers, now millions millions of people, at least hundreds of thousands of people know who I am. And now they're like, this guy is claiming he's going to do this. I better do it because that's what motivates me. So I'm like, well, then I'm gonna show it. So it was kind of like everything happening at once. Or I'm going to do this, I'm going to eat my own dog food, I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and you know what, I'm going to prove that this can be done, and I'm going to do it live on the fly as it's happening because no one's doing that.
Yeah, I really like how you put it out there, you put the number out there, you made it real.
Yeah.
And then, hey, that's what it is now, the whole world knows it.
Yeah.
You're accountable for that.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, that's it, man. I got to do it because I don't want to tell, I didn't want to tell my, I don't want to tell anybody that I couldn't do it. I don't want to tell family, let alone the whole internet.
Yeah. How has the show propelled your business and your personal brand?
Oh man, it's been amazing for personal brand, of course. We do live events like this, and a bunch of people show up, and I go to 10X, and people are taking selfies with me, and I'm like, I'm not even speaking here. This is cool. That's been awesome. From a business perspective, it is absolutely no question, multiple 7 figures of revenue.
That's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. No questions asked. Massive.
Can you imagine if you didn't start the show? Where would you be? It's crazy, right?
It's crazy to think that. It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
It's turned into a whole new, it's new opportunities. It's new sales process. It is impacting how we run the business.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's really good to hear. It's 2019. A lot of companies out there want to know, what do you think is the biggest miss for companies right now in terms of marketing? Where are they missing the mark?
Well, it's 2019, and I think I'm still shocked at how many brands, whether big businesses or personal brands or everybody in between, how many people are still hesitant to really tell their real story and put it on social and be consistent about it and do it with volume. More people are doing it every day, but I still think it's only scratching the surface. I'm still surprised at that. I'm surprised I still have conversations and people question it. On the flip side of that, I think there is a lot more conversation about people building their personal brands and telling their story, which is fantastic. But I think a lot of people will jump into doing that tactic without saying like, do I really want to do this? Do I want to have 4 full-time jobs on top of the company that I'm running? And am I charismatic enough? Am I interesting enough? Am I willing to get better at it? Am I willing to make a bunch of videos online that maybe nobody watches or even people make fun of till I get good at it? What am I willing to do? And I don't think a lot of people ask that question. So I think it's 2 things. A lot of people aren't doing it, and then some people are doing it without really thinking about, like, what am I trying to accomplish with this? Like, why am I telling my story? For what? Well, I don't know, because that's what you're supposed to do. Not necessarily. It works for the right people. Why are you doing it? And I think there's big misses on both sides of that.
So they're not clear about what their goal is.
No, I'm so shocked how many people are not clear, like, at their main goal.
Yeah.
And then they're not attaching that back to the actions, right? So it's like, hey, what do you want in life? I want this. Great. How does content help you get that? Well, I'm not sure yet. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to monetize it. What do you mean figure out one day? Like, there's a lot of ways where if you're just trying to reach a number, dude, I maybe work on a sales script and build a sales team, and you'll probably get there a lot faster than doing content,
right?
And so for me, it's really like understanding and super clear on what's the goal, and then what are the tactics and the order of operations going to get you there the fastest. Content might be it. Content might not be it, right? Or content might be later, or it might be a piece of it. But I think that's where people get lost, is they jump right into the tactic and they don't think about the strategy or the bigger picture of what am I trying to accomplish as a person, and what am I trying to accomplish as a business, and then what are the things I can do that'll get me there the quickest.
Right. They're not targeting what they have to do. They're kind of like firing blankly into the woods, and hopefully they hit something.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, the thing to do now is content on social media, so I'll do that, instead of going like, why? For what? What's the content going to do for you? What are you trying to accomplish, right? And that might be the answer, but I think people start at the last 10% instead of the first 90%. Yeah.
Very interesting. One of your mantras here is to think bold. Tell me what, in your words, what does think bold mean?
Thinking bold for me is really about understanding your true potential. People that really get that they have more to give, they have more to create, they have more opportunities, and they are willing to chase down their full potential, their best version of themselves, until they find it.
Right.
Which may be never. And that means constantly improving. That means like totally destroying the status quo. That means not being afraid and even excited to jump into the unknown, right? And most people, they're freaked out by that stuff, man. Most people are so scared to think that big, to think that way, to take that action. But people that can think bold, dude, they're not scared of it. They're hungry. They love it. They live by it. And to me, that's bold.
How do they get starting to think bold, for those who want to think bold?
This is my belief. I think people innately have that part of them that they think bold, like you do, right? Like, I've known you long enough, right? You think bold, like your gut of guts, like, there's more that's possible. You're gonna push yourself. You're gonna find out, what's next. There's another level. You're gonna find it. You're gonna work hard at it. You're gonna come up with a creative solution. That's you, right? That's a lot of people. But I think the thing is that there's a lot of people that in their gut feel that way, think that way, believe it, but then get told by too many other people to slow down, think smaller, wait. And so they question themselves. Mm-hmm. So for me, I think it's the people that deep down, they know, they're like, dude, I think that way, I believe that. They just need to stop listening to everybody else and live that. And dude, that will set you free.
Sometimes our biggest barrier is myself, though. Whether it be other voices talking to you, or just me talking to myself, like, do I want to do this? Do I really want to do this? Do I take the risk? Or then I message you, like, just do it. Fucking do it now.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What are some tips for new entrepreneurs who are looking to get started or starting their business?
There's so many, but I think a couple of areas that stick out to me right off the top of my head. One, being really clear on what you're trying to accomplish. Because I also think that right now, like, entrepreneurship is cool, and I often ask sometimes entrepreneurs, I say, hey, well, what do you want to accomplish? And then they'll start telling me, and I'll say, hey, I want to make this much money, and then money is also, again, it's a proxy for something else that they want. So I'll say, hey, okay, great. You want that money for what? What do you want? Oh, I want to travel. Great. I want to travel for what? With who? Where do you want to go? Oh, I want to go to Europe, and I want to travel, and I want to experience this with my wife. Okay, so do that. Like, entrepreneurship can sometimes be a really long road to do the thing that you could just get on a flight and do tomorrow.
Right.
And I think people get mixed up that like, oh, again, just like, oh, all right, I need to tell my story and create a personal brand because that's what you do. Oh, I need to create a company and start my own thing because like to have freedom, you got to be an entrepreneur. Dude, I
have less freedom now than I ever did.
Entrepreneurship is the least free thing that anybody can do. It is the hardest, most handcuffed thing that you can do. And unless a person has experienced it, they have no idea what real entrepreneurship entails, man. It is tough. It is hard. It is the toughest road. And so if you're going to do that, you better believe in the thing that you're creating, not using entrepreneurship as an ends to some means.
No.
Because there's way easier ways to get there.
You gotta love the process. That's what you want to...
Yeah. I've said to so many people, I'm like, dude, if money was my goal, I know I can sell, and I have so many connections in this world. I could walk out to New York Stock Exchange tomorrow, and I could probably make more money in a month with some of my connections and selling like really high figures. Like, but that's not my goal. That's not what I want. But it's like, if people really wanted that, there's way easier ways to get the thing. Again, I want to travel Europe with my family and da-da-da-da-da. Go do it, man. You got enough in your bank account. Go do that tomorrow. What are you waiting for? Entrepreneurship's going to make you wait 60 years maybe, or never going to happen. Right? And so for me, it's getting really clear, like, is this what you want? What do you want out of it? Why do you want it? And then digging a level below that, going like, what do you really want? And then going, okay, because what I really want is I want to change an industry. I want to be known for something. I want to see how far I can push myself. I want to see what's possible for me. I want to surround myself with other amazing, incredible human beings. And when I build a business, I can create that. I can't create that working for somebody else. So for me, I have no choice but to be an entrepreneur. So like that outcome, that goal requires me building something. But I think a lot of people, man, like, you know, so it's getting clear. Like, is that what you want? Is it like, does it require you to be an entrepreneur? Man, getting super clear on that. And if the answer is yes, oh man, then just reminding yourself of that every day of like, dude, this is what you were put here to do. This is what drives you. Because in days that it's hard, you got to remember why you're doing it.
100%. Sometimes you wake up in the morning, you're like, I still got to do this, right?
Right.
What I really like about what you said was, you asked like, you want to get clear on what it is, but then dig one more level and what do you really want? Yeah. And that is another question, another answer, right? I was,
because I've been doing, recording some of this podcast stuff recently, and so I've been doing some like little coaching and little like consulting stuff as like part of the content. And I was talking to somebody the other day, and he's running a relatively successful agency in LA. He was asking me, and I was like, well, what's your goal? And he gave me like, hey, this financial figure, I want to go from 5 million to 10 million. I said, great. Why? And he was kind of fluffing around it, and I just kept drilling down, and he couldn't give me a reason for why he wants to get to 10 million. And I'm like, well, what do you want to get to 10 million? I go, that the road from 5 million to 10 million is you're probably going to make less money getting from here to there than you would just figuring out how do you maximize this. He's like, oh. I said, so is that what you want? Well, no. And I kept digging. I'm like, but then why? Like, why are you doing this? And then I found out like he has this like really creative vision and all this stuff. And then I realized like that he realized that he just wants to create like these really beautiful things. And I was like, so you need to build this company around you being able to make really cool, beautiful things. The money ain't gonna get you there. How do you make the company so you're the guy making cool, beautiful things? And he was like, oh my God. Like, yeah, you would have chased the dollar thinking that that's gonna get you to that point. It's not. Yeah.
And then when you get to that point, you realize, oh no, I can't do what I need to do anyway.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. It really is. It's always, I've never had a conversation where asking somebody what they want didn't turn out to be something totally different. Because usually it's the symptom. Because people think they want money. You don't want money. Money doesn't do anything. What's the thing you want from the money?
Sometimes they throw out a number just to have that number. I just want to double, so 10 million, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Right. Exactly. And so I think it's getting really clear on that and actually digging below the surface to understand what you really want.
Cool. Business questions aside, so really noticed over the years, you're a Jordan's fan.
Yes, dude. I love it. I almost wore that same pair.
Oh, awesome.
I have two of them.
What are your favorite Jordans out of all the Jordans? You have different ones, I noticed.
Yeah, you know what my favorite ones are right now? They're the Son of Mars ones. They're all red suede. They're pretty cool because when I wear them, people are like, where'd you get those? Yeah. And I'm not usually the guy that's cool enough to have something where people are like, where did you get those? And I kind of stumbled across them one time, and I didn't realize that like they were hard to get. I had no idea. Like I just dumb and bought them, and they had my size. And people are like, dude, they're hard to get? No. So they're pretty cool, and they're all red, and they're suede, so they're awesome.
You like them because they're red, too.
Yeah, that's why I got the red laces, dude. I always got to have a little red on.
Yeah. How many? These just came out this year. Early this year or late last? I don't know.
I think recently. They're recent, yeah.
How many Jordans do you have?
I don't know. Not as many as you'd think. Maybe like 15, 20 pairs.
That's a lot. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I have friends who have 200 plus, but
see, I'm not like
Ken's a lot.
I'm not like a real. I'm not like a genuine sneakerhead.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, like I'm not that guy. Like I don't know anything about it. I'm like, oh, those look cool, and I know my size now. I'm like, oh, I like that style, and I like Jordans. Great, that's it.
Yeah.
And, and where other people like they know it. That's why I like buy the Son of Mars ones, and people are like, why'd you get those? I'm like, I don't know, they look cool. So I don't know, but also I guess maybe. You know what? And the funny part is, if you asked me that 10 years ago, I'd be like, I have one pair of sneakers and one pair of shoes. And I'd be like, anyone that has more than that doesn't need them. And I'm like, I only have like 15 or 20 pairs of Jordans.
Yeah.
But you know why? It's because my wife has like 200 pairs of running shoes plus everything else. And so like my pitty little 20 pairs of sneakers up here to like every pair of shoes that she has makes me feel like I only have a couple.
Yeah. Your wife's awesome, by the way. Follow her content.
She is awesome.
Pushes through everything, eh?
Yeah, she's
Crazy.
a badass. She's
Run
a
a marathon while pregnant.
Yeah.
Nothing stops her.
No.
Yeah.
She's crazy. She's going to run the
Amazing.
Brooklyn Half Marathon, I think, is it 2 weeks from now?
Is Ellie running too?
No. She loves to run, though.
Yeah.
Not that one. She'll do the short distance one, like 5K or 5 miles. But she loves it.
Awesome.
Absolutely loves it.
What is a day in the life, Brian? What is that like?
Oh, man.
Early riser, late riser, hit the gym in the morning, or
Bro, there's a reason this shirt's a little tight. Yeah, I used to be a serious bike racer, training 20 hours a week, and now I don't remember the last time I rode my bike. That part's tough. That part I've given up a little bit. I need to get back into it because health's important. Typical day in the life. Well, either I or my wife, usually my wife, wakes up at 5 a.m., gives Annie her little 5 a.m. feed, puts her back to sleep. Then, whether it's her or me, I can't fall back asleep, so I lay there stupidly thinking I'll fall back asleep, though knowing I should just get up and start my day at 5, because what's the difference between 5.5 hours of sleep and 6.5? Like, nothing. Might as well get up. But I don't. I lay there. I check my phone. And I send emails and stuff. Then I accidentally pass out for like 20 minutes, and then my alarm hits, and of course I got into like deep sleeps, and I feel like really groggy and out of it. And then my wife is like, told you shouldn't have done that. And I'm like, I know. And she's like, you were up at 5. And I said, I know. And then I run around, so I'm a little bit more behind. Then I take the dog out, and usually try to, Ellie, and I try to go outside and play with her for a little bit. If I'm not rushed, or if I actually get up at 5. Then I get ready, say goodbye to the fam. I come into the office, and I'm usually like already in to work. Like while I'm on, I take a boat in, and I'm usually like already in. Like I'm in it on the boat. So for me, like I'm already in work. If it's a Monday, we do a Monday huddle first thing in the morning. Everybody gets up. We do a stand-up, kind of do a top-line update. I try to keep them really short. My COO, she'll get into the details of the week. And then we split it off. And then for me, it's like every day is different. Some days it's like back-to-back meetings, calls, sometimes content peppered in between, sometimes some interviews, oftentimes like updates from the team. And it really depends on the day. Sometimes some sales stuff. And then like right now I'm traveling a lot, so I'm traveling at least like 1 or 2 days a week every single week. And then there's a couple weeks where I'm like traveling the whole week. So it really depends on the day. And then I'll go until, if I'm in the office, I try to get home at like 7:30. So I get like a good half hour, 45 minutes with Annie before she goes to sleep. Then my wife and I'll have some dinner, and then I'll work until, I'm done, or I'll make some calls or whatever. Sometimes I'll stay late at the office, or I'll be traveling. But that's it, man. It's a real mixed bag. Like everyone's like, "What's your ritual? What's your schedule?" I'm like, whatever.
there was a time where we were here till like 2 in the morning, then back in home, and then back here at 6 in the morning. It was crazy, right?
Yeah, I would do that often, and the only reason I'm not doing it like that now is because of Annie, right? Like I want to see her. It's tough. Like that's actually really tough having a daughter now. She's 4.5 months. Like it was different before. Miss my wife, miss my dog. But like if I pulled an all-nighter here and then went traveling somebody an all-nighter there and whatever, and I came back, it was different. Now, oh man, like 2 days goes by and I haven't seen my daughter, and I feel like, whoa, like it feels like years have gone by. So for me, that's grounded me a little bit to make sure that I do get home at least as often as possible, and I don't stay in the office till 2 in the morning. So what I'll do though, that's where I'm like working on my laptop at home till 2 in the morning. So I'm not in the office physically, but I'm still putting in the hours.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Almost lastly here, favorite place to eat in New York?
Whew.
While we're visiting, Kurt's here and we're here visiting, we want to know where you love to eat.
Do you guys like pizza?
We love pizza.
Okay, Adrian's Pizza Bar, it's right around the corner. Honestly, it's my favorite pizza spot in all of New York. It's awesome. you they do it in these square pans. They're huge. Get 1/2 white pizza, 1/2 regular, and get like just like 1 or 2 toppings. Like people try to overdo it and they get like 17 toppings. Just like, I don't know, like sausage and like peppers, or like just some vegetables or whatever on 1/2, and the other just the white. Out of this freaking world, dude. I'm telling you.
Awesome.
Plenty of other great places, but that is a staple.
So lots of things happening with Bold. I'm excited about Bold Accelerator. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah. Well, Bold Accelerator is really interesting because our clients are bigger brands, right? They're spending 7 figures, and up as far as their marketing spend, and our infrastructure is really designed to handle that, like really large scale, bigger stuff. It's just a totally different infrastructure than us working with smaller businesses. And so while every once in a while we work with like some startups, and we've done so, we've done so very successfully, it's not like we're working with small SMBs, like small business, medium-sized businesses typically. But realize that after these last 2.5 years of building my brand, I have so many other entrepreneurs, business owners, everybody from like, startup entrepreneur to even like mid-sized businesses that reach out to me, whether they come to an event or they reach out to me on Insta or whatever, that are like really hungry and in need of the advice of the things that I've gone through and seen, both for my own business and by working with these bigger brands and doing things differently. And so we've been debating about this for a long time of, can we do something for these businesses, and how do we do that in not a way that's like, oh, cool, now Brian sells a course. Like, that's not what I'm trying to accomplish, right? I don't need a Lambo with some books in front of me.
We all know who we're talking about here.
I don't know what we're talking about. What are you talking about? Anyway, I didn't want to do it just to do it, like, because the reality is too, like, when we're working with these bigger brands, the amount of effort it would be to go and create and sell a course versus like just closing one more client, like, okay,
go close a client.
It would be,
yeah.
It's just astronomical. Like the amount of effort would just be so much less to actually go and close a large business. And so I'm like, it doesn't make sense for us. But then we started really talking about it. We said, okay, what would happen, if we found a way to really help consult and coach these businesses, whether they're trying to get to their first million or they're trying to get to, go to 10 to 100 million. And what would happen if we actually help these businesses get there, and instead of thinking about, hey, how do we execute for these SMBs? Because oftentimes these small businesses, like, they don't need to pay somebody else to do the work. Like, they don't need us to execute. It costs too much money to hire us to do so. But they need to know who to hire, what freelancers there is, or what other smaller companies or whatever do I
They need the roadmap.
Right, they need a roadmap. They need the strategy. They need to know where to go. And so we created this program in order to do that, and the goal being, our ultimate goal is saying, look, if you're a small business now that can't afford us, you can't afford $1 million plus a year, we want to help you grow to the point of where you can then actually hire us as an enterprise client. Because if we do that, freaking everybody wins. And so, so that's what we're doing, the accelerator. It's, it's going to be, we're getting access to my time a couple times a month, plus access to my team, plus bringing them into like our Slack channel, like really building this thing out properly, like putting some back-end tech and everything together, bringing guests in, like, through my network, so I have such a deep network, like interviewing people, giving some tips, getting access to us and my team. So somebody might have a creative question, they might ping it, get in the queue, and somebody on my creative team will answer it. So it's almost as if it's like a group client, and creating a network, which I didn't talk about here, I should have, but creating the network of, hey, everybody here, man, like one of the best parts that it was everybody here networking together.
I met so many people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so doing that both virtually and in person, and doing something where like, hey, annually you bring everybody's in the accelerator together, and virtually, hey, everybody's in here, hey, this is this person, and putting accountability partners together to say like, hey, you're partnered with this person, you're in different industries, but you're similar in these ways. You guys are now, or you people are now going to connect, and you're going to hold each other accountable in this way. So really building out an entire process to get the mental, the strategy, and the tactics together in a way where we can actually help grow companies and maybe even invest in some if it makes sense. So
that's very interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting because ultimately, again, like what we would, what we would make out of this, and obviously we would charge for it to make some level of sense, but like that's not going to be a generator of like, a channel of business for us. What it is look, hey, if we can do this over here and we can help scale a couple of these businesses over to here, well, damn, A, everybody wins. B, now we can actually really do something in depth in person and, do something really great with the people that have, been passionate to follow me and help us along the way. We can give back and do something there, but then also, hey, we help a couple of these grow over here. Damn, that's awesome. Like, what a case study.
We win for everybody.
Dude,
Amazing.
how awesome would that be, right? So that's what we're doing with that. A little long-winded, and we're still like tweaking some of the details, but that's the idea of it, man. We want to make game changer for everybody, because I'm such a believer that like there's so many tactics out there, and you know this. Like, you know, I'm friends with Neil Patel, and I tell everybody, I'm like, dude, you want to get like really good like SEO tactics? Like go get Neil stuff, whether the free stuff or the pay stuff. He's awesome.
Daily podcast he has.
Right? Like,
yeah.
and Neil doesn't give me anything to like promote, you know, whatever. I don't even think he knows I talk about him. But he's got great stuff. So does Ezra Firestone. There's other great people that have great tactics. And there's plenty of free shit on YouTube, probably all of it, that you go right now and get. Nobody needs that from me. What I'm realizing through this journey is people need the motivation, they need the mindset, they need the connections, they need the network. That's the hard part.
They need the foundation.
They need the foundation. And that took me 18 years to get to this point. And I'm like, hey, I wish, and the other thing about it, I'm trying to build the thing that I wish existed 18 years ago. Like, where would I be now if I had a network and access and people I could go, hey, how do you deal with this? Oh, hey, I've been there, connected with so-and-so. Oh, they're in this group too. You guys should connect. Or, hey, you know what? Why don't you actually talk to this person? Or you're going to need a attorney for that. Or, you know what? That's, how much further would I be along if I had that? So that's what I want to build.
So apply that for what you wanted before.
Yeah, exactly,
Awesome.
Man. Because that's always the win.
Podcast coming out too?
Yeah, called Think Bold. We're going to launch that probably next month or so. Really excited about that. It's going to be tons of fresh content. It's going to be stuff that nobody's ever heard, right? Because, like, for example, we, you know, like, whatever, I spent like 12 hours with Patrick Bet-David. There's 8 minutes or 10 minutes on YouTube. There's so much.
We just heard that snippet with Ed Milet. He's awesome.
Ed's amazing, dude. He's a good friend of mine.
Saw him live at the 10X GrowthCon 2.
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine now. He's awesome. He's the real deal. Good dude. Very awesome. Good dude.
Cool. Well, I'll wrap this up. Thanks so much for letting me give us the time to do this and hosting us this beautiful new office of yours.
Thanks, man.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming by.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Go get some pizza.
Yeah, it's a plan.